out. We're going to talk about the difference between different SSDs and which ones we prefer, M.2 SAV SSDs, when you should go with which one. All right, you give your quick little rundown on like what SSDs you prefer, just give the opinion of SSD mark. What is this man doing?
Did you say NVMe?
NVMe, M.2.
Yeah, so we I'm just gonna go and say this. M.2 90% of the time.
Mm-hmm.
The reason being is because the pricing on them, and actually if you want to kind of pull up some pricings, and I'll pull it up as well.
Research.
Basically, NVMe M.2 SSDs are almost the same price as a 2.5-inch SSD. You get faster speeds. And on top of that, you also get a very compact drive that doesn't use any additional cables.
So let's look at this. $60 right now for this Western Digital 500 gigabyte. Pretty comparable.
NVMe, which is faster than a normal SATA drive.
And then we're going to do a 2.5-inch SSD, 500 gigs. Right now, we're looking at 53. This one is 64, 59. 52 is a little bit cheaper. 53, so you're saving a few bucks.
That's a cheap one. Like,
yes,
those are normally
those
cheaper.
Are pretty cheap drives. So price-wise, it makes a whole lot of sense to go with one of these drives. Sometimes, though, there are like really big sales on 2.5-inch drives. You see like 1 terabytes like at around $70 or $80 sometimes, and at that point, it might be worth getting that.
I think the 1 terabytes is where you get the deals.
Yeah, so let's check that. Let's do 1 terabyte.
I know
NVMe.
Inland was being really clutch on Amazon for a while, and they had their 1 terabyte NVMe for $95 or $96.
So we're looking at over 100, 104 for the P2.
And they've gone up, yeah.
They have gone up a little bit. To be fair, this does get impacted by some of the shortages we're dealing with.
Yeah.
But 1 terabyte NVMe, so we'll do 1 terabyte, 2.5-inch SSD.
Someone else had a good question for Warzone. Do you need more than 500 gigs? I mean, technically, no. Warzone, you can look. A good thing to do, by the way, is whenever you're going to download a game, look at the file size, or just Google it. But no, you don't need more than 500 gigs. But Warzone and Windows, after they're installed, you'll probably have like 250
You won't have
gigs
much
left.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, looking right here, a 1 terabyte. Oh, he just.
I didn't. I thought
Wow. Wow. But yeah, no, a Team Group 1 terabyte, 2.5 inches, $86. So at that point, you're saving a decent amount of money. But in this case, what I would say is maybe get like a 1 terabyte drive, M.2 to start if you can afford it. And then later on, if you want to upgrade and add more storage, an SSD, a 1
Definitely
terabyte SSD is the best way to go. It's really hard to justify a hard drive unless you really need a ton of storage for file sizes.
Like 4 terabytes.
Yeah, it's like a 4 terabyte hard drive is not bad. But really, nowadays, like that's a pretty good deal. $89 for 4 terabytes.
Another thing that's weird though is I normally don't recommend doing 2 M.2 drives.
Yeah, I don't.
I feel like there's always issues. Like every time we've done that, they collide with each other. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like I just feel like it's never been smooth. So we do, like Matt was saying, recommend get an NVMe drive if your computer supports it. Make sure that you actually have an M.2 that is the right size. Some older computers have M.2s, but they're only designed for Wi-Fi cards. They're not designed for SSDs.
Yes.
So
there you go. There's your beautiful information for the day.
In my case, I need a ton of space because I'm a maker.
You're a maker? I mean, if you just had a lot of files and stuff, hard drives are fine as long as they're not like big files,
As long as Windows isn't running on the hard drive. That's the main issue. Is like
it takes up a lot of the bandwidth.
Yeah, you don't want to run Windows in the hard drive.
I mean, a 5 terabyte drive for
Warzone and its updates.
Yeah.
That's probably
only thing I do recommend. Newer games now, like that require a lot of assets. I think we're the sub, by the way, JS. But like on hard drives, it is going to be slower. It's not the worst thing in the world. I do have a hard drive in my PC in there.
I'm running one as well for Warzone.
It's not awful, but there are some newer games like Warzone where it'll take a lot longer to load into a game.
But then again, that's why they designed SSHDs. So you can get a solid state hard drive, which is basically just a full-size hard drive that also has some SSD cache in it.
Yeah.
Where it basically, it's almost like RAM, like it's volatile basically, where it stores the things that you're doing on this this volatile SSD memory that's a lot faster, and then permanently stores it on the hard drive.
Yep.
So sometimes those can actually be pretty good, and they're only a little bit more expensive.